But let's scoot along to some fascinating, enormous rounds. We have a lot of rounds to get through today, so buckle in. We're going to start with Byju, which raised $500 million, kind of keeping up our EdTech
Not a
theme.
rolling fund.
Yeah, no, definitely not a rolling fund. In this case, from Silver Lake, Owl, and some other folks. Natasha, tell us about this EdTech bet.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever broken down Byju's as a company on equity, so I'm going to just give a quick background. It was founded in 2011, has investments from, as you said, Owl Ventures, one of the largest EdTech-focused funds, and Zuckerberg. It became a unicorn in 2018. Its whole pitch was live personalized learning for K through 12 and also students that are going to be taking exams like the GMAT, GRE. There's a couple other ones that are more specialized to like India. And it's done really well. It had, one of my favorite details about Byju is that it's named after the founder, Byju Ravindaran. And he, excelled at a CAT exam 10 years ago, is an Olympiad winner. And so he named the company after himself. And I think that's great. And they also have my favorite actor as their ambassador, who's a major Bollywood actor, Shah Rukh Khan. And I'm not kind of taking us off path, but there is like this huge Bollywood fandom that genuinely the influencer market in Bollywood is nothing like the influencer market in the States. People just stand outside of Shah Rukh Khan's house. And by people, I mean like thousands on a daily basis. And so to have him as an ambassador and to say yes, and to also be the face of your company, I believe had a huge reason, to why Byju's became a household name.
Well, I don't know if it's because he's super popular or just the scale of this the startup, but Byju now has more than 64 million registered users, 4.2 million paying subscribers. And so to me, it's like a proof point that people will pay for EdTech when it's appropriate to what they're trying to learn.
Especially internationally. There is this huge consumer hunger internationally for supplemental education, and you really see it defined by Byju's. They acquired a startup earlier this pandemic, White Hand Junior, and is now kind of the most valued edtech startup in the world. And then the newest news is that they raised another $500 million in an investment round from Silver Lake. So they're just adding capital and becoming an insane force. It's kind of hard to get your head around it.
Yeah, and at nearly an $11 billion valuation, I think this is the most valuable edtech startup that I've ever seen, or at least that I can recall offhand. So this is the high watermark for the sector. And I think it goes to show that how big they can get. This is not a thing that caps out at $1 billion. You can get into the decacorn range. And as a side note, we had prepared a treat for you guys. I was going to list in reverse chronological order all of Shah Rukh Khan's films, but then
that was
I
great
pulled
pronunciation, Alex. Let me
Thank
just
you.
say.
I reread it before I said it out loud. I'm like, we're going to look at every single letter in this to avoid being dumb. And I was going to do this, starting with Dewana and going through Chamatkar and then 1,000 other ones. But there's so many, it would actually be the rest of the show of me listing movies. So I'm not going to do that. But you can go to Wikipedia and look at the filmography yourself. But he is a big deal, and I learned new things today. So I like that.
And then also Silver Lake has been busy with other things too in India. Danny, maybe take us through their other investment this week.
Silver Lake is like a rolling fund in that they're just spraying money, except they're spraying money in the 500 million to $1 billion range. So the other news this week was that Silver Lake invested $1 billion into Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Retail. So you might have heard about Reliance in the context of Jio, which is one of the competitors in the Indian telco space. Reliance is a multi-generational family conglomerate, most well known in the oil and energy industries, but it also owns India's largest retail chain, almost 12,000 stores across the country. And so Silver Lake bought precisely 1.75% for $1 billion, so valuing the company at a roughly $57 billion price point. And the interesting dynamic here is Jio, which is also owned by Reliance, and then you have Reliance Retail, are combining forces to build out JioMart, which is sort of an e-commerce competitor that's kind of gearing up to fight Amazon locally in India.
So JioMart will compete locally in India with Flipkart and Amazon because Walmart owns Flipkart, right?
That's right.
So this will be the kind of the only India-owned, Indian-focused e-commerce giant.
That's right. And of course, given Mukesh Ambani, who's not only one of the richest Asians in Asia, but is also, I think, the number one richest person in India proper, has huge Rolodex of folks at all levels of government. And so one of the key questions is, for Walmart, for Amazon, how are they going to remain competitive with JioMart when the person running, Reliance is so powerful locally?
TikTok is the answer to all concerns about Walmart.
Oh, I thought we were going to get away the whole episode with not talking about TikTok, but apparently not. Is there a book out on Reliance that I could read? I feel like this has gotten to the point now that I need to go back and learn the back history.
I think one of the best books you can read is James Crabtree's The Billionaire Raj, which is really a profile of the Ambani family and some of his most notable business and political achievements and scandals.
And this is why I love the show, because that question has an answer.
I was going to recommend, and I know it's cliche to recommend your fellow colleague, but I think Manish Singh is doing an amazing work on this. And he wrote a really great profile of the Ambani family that I think is worth reading. Probably takes 10 minutes, but great with your morning coffee. I did it.
Okay, I will put that in the show notes because I did not know we had that on the site, but I will go rectify that and tweet it out so everyone can catch up on that as well.